Before we get into our training video, if by chance you found this video as a recommended video on YouTube, this training video is actually part of an extensive CorelDRAW for Beginners training series from AdvancedTshirts.com. We have developed dozens of videos, and we also have available on our website downloadable work-along files that you can work with in CorelDRAW while you're working through the training videos. Easily the best and fastest way to learn. If these videos are helpful to you, please take a second to add a like to the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be notified when we upload new video content. And of course, in the comment section below, you can post your questions or your CorelDRAW video tutorial requests. In this session, we're going to take a look at the Polygon tool in CorelDRAW. And this is one of my favorite shape tools because you can do so many things with it. And it's very interactive, and it's also very dynamic. The other shape tools are also interactive and dynamic, but the Polygon tool is unique because any adjustment made to any point in the polygon will also be applied to all the points in the polygon. We'll get into that as we get into this session. But with the polygon, I can make many different shapes. I can make a triangle, a star, a pentagon, a hexagon, a radial graphic, and many other things depending on how I want to work with this tool. I'm going to scroll down here and we'll just take a look at some of the basics. Here I have a polygon lion graphic that I made, and you can see how I put it all together, and we'll go through this in this video tutorial. To get started, I'm going to just go ahead and delete these shapes here. So I'll lasso, left click, hold down, select them, hit the delete key. Go to the Polygon tool, which is normally right here beneath the circle tool, and then there's the star. We'll left click and select that. Now we'll take a look at the properties bar. Right now, this is the property bar for the Polygon tool, but you can see everything is grayed out until I left click, hold down, and create a polygon. Now if I hold down Control, I can create a perfect rectangle. And it starts out with a default of 3 points or sides. Change the width here to 2.0, and I'll bring this and set this up underneath the triangle. Left click, hold down, right click one time. I'll take that triangle, bring it under the star. I'll change that to 5. Now you can see that would be my pentagon. I'll bring that over here and just leave that here. Now here I'll go and left click to select that, go to a node, left click, hold down, start pulling that, hold down Control to constrain that so it'll be going to the center, and I will create a star. Now here you'll see that on the points, we might want to go to our object properties and change the meter from 45. I'll just hit 1 and enter. Oops, I have to have that selected. We'll hit cancel here. Left click on a line, select that. Now go to the object property bar, hit 1 or press 1 and hit enter. And now you'll see the points on my outline. And we did cover that in the session relating to lines and outlines in CorelDRAW if you did not see that. We covered the outlines in depth. So there we have the star. To get the hexagon, I'll go to the pentagon, I'll go to the center point, left click, hold down, right click one time, duplicate that under the hexagon, come up to the polygon property bar and give that 6. And now I have a hexagon shape. And you can see that there. I'll left click and duplicate this again, and I'm going to change the properties of the sides to, let's say, 16. 1, 6, hit enter. Zoom in, hover over a node, select that, start pulling. If I want to hold down Control, I can constrain that, so I'll go to the center point, and now I have a radial graphic. Once again, I might want to change my meter point. I'll go to 1 and hit enter, and you'll see that the outline will go right out into points. I'll hit Control Z to undo that, or I could just fill that with a black and take the outline off, and you can see the radial graphic. So you can see all of the things that we can create with the Polygon tool interactively and dynamically in CorelDRAW. I'm going to change this to 10 points and hit enter. And then I'm going to go to the shape tool and have a look at what's going on here with the Polygon tool and these points. Now the points are all in a line state by default. Now you can see when I clicked on that, I went to the shape tool property bar. I can change this to a curve. If I hit the C key, it won't change. So what I want to do is select it, go to the right click contextual menu and go to curve. Now you can see the control arms appear. Now you'll notice that as I make an adjustment or change to that point, that also makes an adjustment or change to all of the points in the polygon shape. Right click here to curve, pull over this way, start creating a different type of shape. So you can imagine the type of things that you could do with the Polygon tool and the control that you have over these points working with the shape tool. If I want to add a node here, I can double click and drop a node there, double click and drop a node there, and do the same thing here. I'm too close in here, so I'll have to zoom in. And then double click and drop a node here. I can select this line segment, change it to a line, do the same thing here, to a line, pull this out. Now I can see that I might want to change these nodes to a cusp. So I'll hit Control Z and I'll go back. Then I'll select this node, right click, and I'll change that to a cusp. Do the same thing, left click, right click, cusp. And then I can take this and pull this out and create like an effect coming off of the points in the polygon. So you can see this flexibility of what you can do with this tool. And I could come back and start to make adjustments this way and spin this around like that. And you could see that, and I could come in here and drop another node down here and pull this down in this way. I'm not really trying to design anything right here. I'm just trying to show you the functionality and flexibility that we have with the Polygon tool and all the things we can do with it and how we can work with it. I'm going to pull back and zoom out, and we'll take a look at this lion. And I want to move some things around here, so I guess we'll be done up here for now. So get my pick tool. I could have just hit the space bar, but we'll select all of this and we'll just delete this because we won't be needing it for the rest of the tutorial. And I'm just going to bring this up and we'll bring this down to the bottom here, and we'll start looking at how we would do a trace or make a drawing like this. I'll select this bitmap. I'm going to bring it up here. Now these were grouped, so I'm going to ungroup that. Now right here, looking at the lion, what would I want to create there for my shape? And you can see I started with a pentagon. So I'm going to go to my Polygon tool and I'll start from the center, hold down Shift and Control to make that perfect, change that to 5, and I'll come over here and mirror vertically. And there I have that shape. I can bring this down to right about there, and that'll be good for now. At this point, I'll go and convert to curves or Control Q from the keyboard for the shortcut. Now that this is a curve and no longer a polygon shape, I'll just hit my space bar on my keyboard and change to the pick tool, come over, double click, and that'll change me to the shape tool. I'll delete these nodes, just double click on them. This node I'll bring down here. These two I'll delete, and this, and of course this. Then I'll select these two nodes and I'll come up here and I'll turn on reflect and mirror nodes, and I'm going to bring those up into here. And then I'm going to bring this one down here more. And these two I'll select together. And I'll have another training series with, I'm going to hit Control Z and go back. I'm going to turn off reflect vertically, hold down shift, select both of these nodes. Now because I held down shift, I got the middle node. I didn't want that. So I'm going to click off and select again. Just click this node, and then I'll hold down Control, select that node, and then select reflect nodes horizontally, and you'll see that that'll bring both of those nodes in right into that shape. So there's the basic shape of the face, and I'll do the same thing here. I'll make just a little bit of a further adjustment right there. So there's the beginning of the face coming off of the pentagon shape from the Polygon tool. The next thing that I want to do is, you can see down here we've got some more shapes here, and we could do this with a pentagon or a triangle, but I think I'll go with another pentagon. So I'll go here and we'll left click, hold down, and we'll change this to 5, and I'm going to move this up into there. You see that shape fits in just about right. I'm going to go Control Q, convert that to curves, hit my space bar, go to the pick tool, double click, change to the shape tool, and I'm just going to hold down Control and select all of these nodes with the shape tool, double click, and they'll all be deleted. Now I can left click and drag this node and line segment up into there. That'll be fine. I can do the same here and the same here. Now I'll take that shape, left click, and I didn't need to do that, let's take a look at that. We'll go back to the pick tool, and I'm going to hit the space bar, and then I'll go over and come over here, and we'll come up here and we will mirror horizontally, bring this over, and we have that shape set up and ready to go. Now these we can take and weld together. But before I do that, I want to make an adjustment here to this object. So I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to take a node and drop it right about there, and then I'm going to do the same thing here with the shape tool, and then delete this node. And you can see how that works. Now I'll hit my space bar, and I'll hold down shift and select all of those objects and go to the multiple object property bar and weld. Now I can see there seems to be off just a little bit right here, so with the shape tool I'll select that, and I'm going to double click to go to the shape tool. We'll select this, hold down shift, select this, and we'll go to mirror vertically, and we'll move these two up a little bit. I have all of that, see, because I held down shift, didn't want to do that. Hold down Control and select both of these, not shift, and bring these up here to fit in a little bit. And I'll change this and turn that off, bring these in here a little bit, and there I've got that. Now if I want to add some curve here, I could do that, but this will be fine for the tutorial. The next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to create this chin object, and that also could come from a pentagon. So I'll go to the Polygon tool, left click, hold down. I'm going to create a rectangle just about the size of that chin shape there, and I'll change that to a, as you can see, a pentagon, and then I'll mirror that vertically, and that's very close to the shape that I'm working with. I will take this and I'll hit Control Q to convert that to curves, hit my space bar, double click on this to go to the shape tool, holding down Control, select all of these nodes, and then delete them with a double click. Bring this node down here. I'll select these two nodes, and I will come up here and mirror nodes horizontally and pull them out to like right about there. I can double click and add a node here. We'll bring this up here a little bit. Then we'll select these two nodes. Mirror horizontally is turned on. We'll bring these two down here. So you can see there is the basic shape of the face of the lion, working with the tools and the Polygon tool in CorelDRAW. Next, I'll go to the ears, and I'll do those with the Bezier tool. Those will be easy. So I'll go to the Bezier tool. We covered that in a previous session. I'm just going to click here, 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 and then I'll close that there. And that should be good. And actually, I'm going to go to the center point, change the move tool, left click, hold down, bring that over here with a right click, holding down constrain to move that in parallel with the other ear. Now with that selected, I'll hit my space bar, and that's not going to take me back to the pick tool, so I'll come over here, get my pick tool, and I'll go here and mirror horizontally and just bring that in place. So there's the two ear shapes. Now for the eye, I can see here that I can go with the Bezier tool and recreate that as well. So I'll go to the Bezier tool, I'll just click here, 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 and I missed that one, Control Z, right there. Control Z is undo or go back, and then right there. I'll zoom in here, come here and go and bring this up so it's straight. Right here where the eye is, I think I can use the ellipse tool there. Go to about the center, hold down, pull out, and that looks good. I think I'll hit my space bar and go to the pick tool, hold down shift, select both of these, and then go to front minus back. There's the eye. And this I can just left click, hold down, control to constrain it, bring it right over here, and go to mirror horizontally, and then move that into place. So there's the eyes. Now all I need is the hair type object all the way around it. So I'll count the points. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points. Go to the Polygon tool, change this to 10. Up in the Polygon property bar, start from the center, hold down Control and Shift, and I want to come right about to there. And you can see that's lining up right with the point here where I'm going to come off, and down here, and I have the node in the middle. The next thing that I want to do is go to the Shape tool, lasso, and select all of those nodes, and I think I want to convert all those to curve, and I want them all to be a cusp, which they are. Then I can left click, I'm going to click off, click back on, select this node, and just bring it over to this area. Then I'll zoom in, and I'll start working on the shape. And we can see that. I want to bring a node in here, so I'll lay this down and bring this right up into here. And we'll do the same thing here. And the same thing here. Now I want this to be right click, it's set to cusp, so okay, that's good. I'm going to bring this control arm in, as you can see right there, and then I'll bring this down to here. I'm going to bring another node, double click, drop that there and pull in that direction. And I'm going to bring another node here, double click, working with the shape tool, bring that out that way. Now I'll start working on this side, double click here with the shape tool and bring this up in here. Bring this control arm for this cusp over in this direction and make some adjustments here on this control arm for that cusp right in there. I'll do the same thing down here, bring this in this way. Now that's going to create an issue, but I know that this is the line that I want, so I'll double click there and pull this over that way. Now I'm starting to get very close. Another node in this way, and we'll make some adjustment up here and make sure everything is accurate. Working with the control arms and the line segments in the Polygon tool. and bring this down a little bit, and that right there, this down to here. I'd say we've got that. So there's the trace of the polygon main shape around the face of the lion. Now once I've completed the trace, I can just left click lasso that, and I'll just bring that over here, and then I'll lasso everything that's in the face. I've got 6 objects. Because my eyes are here in the middle, I want to combine and not weld, so I'll combine. Now it's quite obvious that because the last shape I drew was the main object, it's on top of everything else. And I want to push that to the back of the page, so I'm going to right click, order, and go to back of page or Control N. Then I can go to the eyedropper tool. I'll come here to this color that's in the face, left click, you'll see it change to a fill bucket, fill that. That's all filled with the correct color. I'll come over here and right click to give that no outline. Now I had the object behind selected. So I want to go to my pick tool, select this, then right click, and that's that lighter color. You can't see it very well, but it's there. But the orange color is going to give that contrast. So go back to the eyedropper, come here with the eyedropper, left click here, come over and left click here. Now I've filled that. Then I can come up, right click, and take the outline off. Now I don't have that selected, and there we go. But I just gave that no outline. So now we can see how we can work with the Polygon tool to do tracing and design and illustration. This is a very interesting icon, and once again we're working with basic things because this is CorelDRAW for beginners, but the same principles apply to much larger design and illustration projects as you work in CorelDRAW in graphic design. I'll zoom out here and we'll take a look at this emblem design down here. Now these look like ellipses, but they're actually polygons with 70 points. And I can hover over a node and I will change the shape tool. I'll left click, start pulling out, hold down Control to constrain that, and very easily create that effect for the design as you see here. And the same thing here on the inside, which is the circle that is another polygon with 70 points. Make sure that I have that selected. And I'm going to zoom in there because I want to get these nodes. There we go. And left click, hold down Control, pull this in to constrain that, and there is the other direction. And that sets that up like that. Now here I have this set up with 70 points, but let's say I want this kind of curved edge going on with that. To do that, I'll just grab this emblem, left click, hold down, I'll duplicate that over here, scroll over a little bit, I'll select this polygon, I'm going to change this to, let's say, 20 points. Then I'm going to take my shape tool, left click, lasso all of the nodes, I'm going to change everything to curves, and then I'm going to change everything to symmetrical mode. I'll click off, and you can see the effect. Nice, smooth, curved edge, not the pointed edge. Once again, working with the Polygon tool. This session is carrying on a little bit. I'll zoom out here, but I really want you to see what you can do with the Polygon tool and all the design options and elements that you can work with and make with it. Very dynamic tool, one of my favorites in Corel. Now here I've got a simple soccer emblem, and I want to put, let's say, a radial graphic behind it, like a starburst in the back. I'm going to lasso and delete these two. I'll select this, left click, hold down, right click one time, duplicate that, go to the multiple objects properties bar, create boundary. Then I'm going to go to the contour tool, set to one step, and we cover this in a later session, this tool. Left click, hold down, I'll drag that out around my graphic. Now this is set to rounded corners. If I want, I could set it to metered. And you can see the points come out. When I hit my space bar, go back to the pick tool, hover over the contour line object, right click and select break apart, or I could hit Control K to break that apart with my keyboard. So I've got that selected, but I'll just break that apart. I'm going to go select the boundary object, which is right there, and I can see the center point. Pull that out. That's not the boundary object. That's the other object. I want to zoom in so I can see that. That's right here. Now I've got that. That's the boundary object. I'm going to delete that. This contour object I'm going to fill with white and take the outline off. And then I'm going to right click and go order to back of page. You won't be able to see that because that's behind the graphic now. Then I'll bring this over here and I'll go to the Polygon tool. I'll give this, let's say, 14 points. I'm going to click off, hold down shift, pull that out to about where I'd want that to be, centered to the design. Go to a node, left click, hold down, control, constrain that, bring that into the center, fill that with red, take the outline off of it. That's a left click for the red fill, right click to take the outline off, go to the center point, right click, order to back of page, and there's the radial. I could make that a little bit bigger. I'll hold down control, holding down control I can, or is it shift? Yeah, it's shift, not control. Holding down shift I can scale from the center, not control, shift. So I'll hit control Z. When I hold down shift, then I can scale from the center of the design. Now I can see how that looks with 13, 12, 11, etc. How many points I want to have on that radial graphic. And I can go back to the nodes, and let's say I want to make this a little bit thicker. Just hold down control, pull this in, and you can see that. And we could add more to it. Gotta make sure I've got that selected. Once again, clicking on the line with the shape tool. So that's how I could create a radial graphic to go behind my soccer emblem, working with the Polygon tool. So I know this has been a long session. We've gone through a lot of things, but I really wanted to cover the Polygon tool in depth and in detail, so you can see how you can use it for design and trace and many different things working in graphic design in CorelDRAW. We'll wrap here and we'll continue in our next session.